The grenade launcher. It's a weapon that can be found in multiplayer, but then that's the thing. It feels like it's everywhere in multiplayer. 4 out of the 6 classes in multiplayer have the infinite use grenade launcher, which kind of completely goes against their roles as individual classes. The Grenadier, Sapper, Orderly and Scout all have this weapon, which provides just a lazy method of giving these characters some form of range, which is crazy when you think about it. So let's break it down for a second. The Grenadier to many players is considered to be one of the most overpowered classes in multiplayer. Holding both cluster bombs and high explosive grenades, it boasts the highest damage output at short to mid range. In terms of concept, the Grenadier is perhaps the best fit character to be holding the grenade launcher. I mean, the clue is in the name. Considering this class is already OP, it doesn't necessarily add anything extra to the Grenadier's arsenal other than providing some form of long range weaponry, but it does balance itself out by having a max damage output of 30 HP. I think if we could lower the max amount of cluster bombs and high explosive grenades that the Grenadier can hold, the grenade launcher would become a much more viable weapon for this class to use more often. As the only class within multiplayer that can heal, the Orderly's weapons and abilities are just seriously all over the place. Considered as overpowered in the community because of its triple use tranquilizers, this class in my opinion doesn't really need the grenade launcher. The fact that you only have one infinite use healing ability is just so limiting, especially when compared to its single player counterpart. Why the medical balls and darts were left out of the Orderly's arsenal is just beyond me. The thing about the Orderly is it doesn't need any more offensive weapons. Having the tranquilizer and rifle burst combination is enough for me, so really the grenade launcher shouldn't be necessary. I mean, sure, in terms of balance you would look at reducing the amount of tranquilizers that the Orderly can hold, but overall the medic class on the whole has never been about having long range weaponry. I guess the issue with bringing in the other healing options and removing the grenade launcher would be that the Orderly basically becomes the surgeon from single player, so the classes would be too similar. But why not change it up and add in other non-healing related weapons? Why not give the Orderly some roller grenades or a sword or a machine gun? There are just countless other routes that could have been taken without the need for a grenade launcher. The Scout's arsenal in multiplayer is certainly one that could use a lot of work. For starters, it's a class that shouldn't have to worry about range because of its possession of the sniper rifle. It's a class that focuses on positioning above all else, otherwise its key weakness is revealed. But no, let's just undo that idea and give the Scout a grenade launcher. Once again, if we are talking about having these classes sticking to their core concepts and roles, it goes against it completely. In fact, I think the Scout is one of the classes in multiplayer that would have a wider selection of more viable weapon choices, including the use of the suicide. What makes the suicide useless is the survival bonus in single player, but the strange thing is, the suicide can only be found in single player. What the fuck is going on? The Sapper, just like its single player counterpart, is all about mid to close range combat with high damage output. Here you'll find the usual suspects: the shotgun, shrapnel grenades, TNT, and yeah, the grenade launcher. Like, I get the inclusion of shrapnel grenades because they are very strong against vehicles and sometimes against pigs if you detonate them in a certain way, but the use of mines has been removed to make way for the grenade launcher. Like, why not replace the launcher with some anti-P mines? That way you stick with the theme of having a class that is strong against vehicles, but is still viable to use against pigs. Especially when you consider the wide variety of maps in multiplayer that contain vehicles, and the fact that the Sapper has the most amount of health out of all the 6 classes in this mode. Now, I understand the argument that for the sake of balance, the classes in multiplayer have a weapon that provides them with some long range damage, and perhaps through testing, the Hogs of War team found that the grenade launcher was a necessary addition to the arsenal of most of the pigs in multiplayer. But from my perspective, it just seems like an easy and somewhat lazy option. One of the key elements of Hogs of War is its differentiation between classes, how each class is represented through their own weapons and abilities. As soon as 80% of the classes in multiplayer have exactly the same infinite use weapon, it makes them appear dull and uninspired. The multiplayer classes are weak in comparison to their single player counterparts, and to me, it's all primarily because of the grenade launcher, and that is why I dislike it. Nevertheless though, as always, that is just my own opinion on this weapon within Hogs of War. But what is yours? Do you agree, disagree? Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, let's get a discussion going on the grenade launcher. And in the meantime, that is going to wrap it up for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. For those of you who are new to the channel and you want to see more, then feel free to check out some of my other videos. And indeed, don't forget to subscribe. And I will catch you guys later for the next one. Peace out, everybody.
Destination going. I'm going. There's destination going.